conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping and Paul Felder.
Get the show on the road with the one and only Irish Dragon, Paul Felder. How the hell are you, buddy?
Good, man. Fresh off playing yesterday from Las Vegas. Dude, I haven't done an Apex show, actually, other than the Contender Series. I only did one Contender Series this year. Haven't done an Apex show in a long time. And the first time I've done interviews in the Apex, Michael, in a long time. Bro, it is a different world. You know, I've done a couple times where we've been overseas and there's big crowds and you get in there and there's energy and it's just noise. When you get in there in the Apex, especially the first couple interviews, and there's no noise whatsoever, I'm just like, let's hear it for, I don't need, this seems awkward now. You know what I mean? It felt awkward.
Yeah, well, you did a good job, as always, Paul. I always think you do a tremendous job, actually. Welcome to the show, everyone. We've got a big UFC 322 preview. Obviously, Harrington's put in, I don't know, some nonsense stories in there as well. We'll get to some of them. We'll pick and choose.
Naturally.
But we also have the one and only Herb Dean joining us later. Herb very kindly agreed. There was no hesitation. Obviously, there's a little bit of controversy going on with like eye pokes, and then we had the fixing thing and all the rest of it. So we'll speak to Herb and get his takes on a few things and the state of MMA officiating lately as well. So we'll speak to him. So we've got a good show planned. What have you been doing this morning, Paul? I know you've been back in the gym working out. Last week you were trying to get buff. What are you doing this week?
I'm still getting buff. I lifted. This is going to surprise everyone. Okay. I lifted 3 times last week, Michael. 3 times last week. For me, that's a ton of lifting. I'm just trying to get strong again before I get this hip surgery, which is coming up. And all the endurance stuff is fun, but it's only just going to keep aggravating that hip. So whilst I still have my actual natural hip, I'm going to get as strong as I can so that when I go onto the knife, I've built up a little bit more muscle and then I can do that. Today, I did some kickboxing with my boy Harry and one other guy from Royal Striking, which is one of my old coaches, kickboxing gyms down in Philly. I just felt like moving around. We did some playful sparring. I had each one of those guys coming in and out. So I did 10 rounds, 3-minute rounds with those guys, just Muay Thai, and then did some pads. Nice. So got good it job. In. It was fun. Yeah. It was fun. The lifting. Yeah, no, it's important because my algorithm, my social media, my Instagram algorithm is just lately, because I send Rebecca recipes. So you get cooking stuff.
I send it to Rebecca. Now my algorithm is either all recipes, right, which is kind of getting on my nerves a little bit, or working out stuff and like some health guru, pretending that they know everything. And I saw a thing and it said, I forget who his name was. It wasn't Gary Brecker. It might have been Andrew Huberman. It was Huberman, actually. So this guy he's not a quack.
No, not at all.
He was saying, apparently smoking adds 50% on to all-cause mortality. You've got a 50% chance of dying earlier. Drinking heavily, 25%, all this. And he went through a few things. Having a high cardiovascular threshold.
Yeah, VO2.
VO2 max is 250% the other way. And being strong and having a lot of muscle is 400% the other way. Yeah.
So lift them weights.
Lift those weights, baby.
Yeah.
But then Rebecca came out with a really good question. And she said, well, who are they? Where are they getting these facts and figures? Because 100 years ago, or even 50 years ago, people didn't work out like what they do these days. Like my dad, when he was younger, wasn't going to the gym. Fitness wasn't a thing. There wasn't gyms on every street corner. So I'm not doubting his research, but it was just an interesting question. Maybe the chat or the comments have an answer to it, but that is a fair question.
Yeah, and you can, if you find, I guess, the case studies and stuff like that, they will tell where they got any of that data. But I always wonder that too, like how accurate can these things be? And I guess they would tell you, it's just based on the groups that were analyzed and the people that were analyzed. And usually it'll give you that information. Well, it was 100 people, 1,000 people, some were this, some were smokers and not worked out. Others were smokers that did work out every day. So it's got to be like a big combination of multiple things so that they can get all the data, and then science, they be sciencing, with all that stuff. And
science be sciencing. But by the sounds of it, you can smoke like a chimney, you can drink like a fish, but as long as you get up and go to the gym and do some kind of workout, you're gonna live. Bro, you're gonna live longer.
It's funny that you say it because I saw something very similar to that, where it was saying that all the things that can deteriorate you and cause a faster mortality and all this kind of stuff are greatly then diminished by people that actually are very fit and very active. Even if they do those things, I think I've said this before on here, where if you smoke all the time, but you work out all the time, you are likely, now again, I'm paraphrasing from what I saw, you are more likely to live longer if you're still extremely active and fit than the person that is kind of sedentary and doesn't do anything, but doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, doesn't do anything negative, but does not work out at all.
Yeah.
The person that smokes still may be more likely to have a longer life than that.
We're doing a case study right here on BYM between me and Harrington.
Yeah,
right.
I smoke like a chimney.
How many cigarettes a day? How many cigarettes a day?
Pack a day at least.
Damn, you smoke that many, Brian?
Buddy, at least.
How many through a show?
I don't know.
On this episode, roughly, how many you putting away?
I don't know, probably 3, maybe.
I'm bad with the nicotine pouches nowadays. I'll tell you that. They're so convenient. It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, well, but you know what? Like, so for example, my brother, when he was in the military, and a lot of military guys that I know, they all smoke.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them smoke quite heavily, but they're in phenomenal shape. Because they're busy, they're active, they're doing their hikes and their exercise and all the rest of it, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, no one's advocating that people should smoke. You know what I mean? And I think eventually a lot of people tend to grow out of it. Unlike my old man, who my dad says that the stress of quitting smoking would kill him.
Yeah.
He's like, it'll fucking kill me, son.
My mom, we're still in that battle with everything that she's going through. And, you know, you start to get to a point where I understand, you know what I mean? Like she's 70 years old. She's battling a lot of bullshit, and there's a few joys left in her life, and seeing us, seeing her grandkids, seeing her family, and smoking them fucking cigarettes, man. You know, it's not much that she's a simple lady. She doesn't drink. She doesn't do anything else that's really all that bad for you. She doesn't eat all that great, but she likes to smoke.
She likes to smoke. God bless her. That's my dog, Ford. Babe, seriously, for crying out loud, put the dog in the back garden. My God. Because this is fine. This is just the Believe You Me podcast. Last week I was doing a UFC 322 preview show, which we are going to get to, for the love of God. We are going to get to, because I'm very excited to talk about it. But because it's a professional organization, they're like, oh, we're going to have to redo that bit. Put the dog in the back garden, for the love of God. It's not fine.
You're not going, are you, Michael? You're not going to be there?
I'm not going to be there, sadly. I was just talking to Brian in Harrington. I was scheduled to be there for ESPN, and I was really looking forward to it. There's nothing like a fight week at MSG. The time of year, you know, it's nice and dark. It's cold, but it's nothing crazy. I can rock a nice jacket. The fight card's always phenomenal. You know what I mean? Good restaurants. There's a hype. There's a buzz around the city. You're getting 20,000 steps a day because you're walking left, right, and center.
You're walking everywhere. Everywhere.
You're walking everywhere.
I'm going now. They're doing, you know, that About Last Fight podcast that Helly and Weidman. I'm doing that with those guys. So that'd be fun. So I'm just going up Saturday. I'm going to take the train up Saturday. I don't have to be there until the main card, but obviously, like, I'm in Philly. I'm going to take the train up. I'm going to hang out in the city for a little bit. Trying to get my buddy a ticket that can come with me, or my brother, somebody, trying to get somebody to come, but we'll see. It's going to be tough to get free tickets to this one, I would think. So
it is. And listen, there was a great night of fights at the weekend. And as you said, there was 5 finishes on the main card, or 6 finishes. I don't know how many there was. I did watch it, but I'm excited to talk about UFC 322. So no disrespect. Well done to Gabriel Bonfim. The win over Root Boy. What did you think about the stoppage, real quick?
You know, I got to say, I think it was a good stoppage. I really do. I know there's a lot of people, and even Dom and me as well. And I first saw it. And then when I watched the replay, if you really look at, and I love Randy Brown, he's an East Coast guy, came up to the same regional scene. He knows I got nothing but love for him. he was hurt. He was hurt bad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you look at when the ref actually stepped in, Randy's hands were still yet to be covering his face. As the ref was stepping in, Randy got smart to it, put his hands up, but you know what was coming up next. As soon as, if the ref wasn't there, Gabriel Bonfim was coming in with a straight right from hell, from on his feet down into Randy's face. And who knows, maybe not, but I think it was fair.
Yeah, same here. I had no issue with it. I know obviously Randy's going to protest.
Of course.
That's what we do as fighters. You know, that's the fighter instinct. That's who you are at your core. You put all that work in, you know, and you feel like you could have gone on. And I always use the same example. When I lost to Vitor Belfort, immediately I was like, what the hell? And then I watch it back and I'm like, yeah, okay. I got dropped with a head kick and he was pounding away on me. You know what I'm saying? That sounded weird. But he was having a good old time. So yeah. Anyway, let's get into UFC 322 because I'll tell you what, top to bottom. Have you got the fight card up in front of you there, Paul?
I do, yeah.
I mean, this is a strong fight card. Would you go as so far to say, and Brian and Harrington, get your thoughts, is this the best pay-per-view this year? I mean, granted, that's a tough question to ask, but it's just solid from top to bottom. I mean, even on the early prelims, Erin Blanchfield, it wasn't that long ago, she was main event against Manon Fiorot, I think. She's taking on Tracy Cortez. Early prelims, Kyle Dorcas versus Gerald Mearchart, Rodolfo Vieira and Bo Nickel. And this is all before we even
there's a bunch of good fights, like Sabatini's facing Chepe Mariscal. That's actually a rematch. They fought on the regional scene. Malcolm Wellmaker's on the card.
Yeah.
Like you said, Blanchfield, Cortez, Kopylov, and Gregory Rodriguez. You know that's going to be ugly. Bo Nickel. Yeah, shit, dude. It's and you know what I think's a real interesting fight to talk about, and I'd like to hear everyone's opinion on this one too, is Beneil Dariush and Benoît Saint Denis. A lot of people have been asking me about that fight, and because I did I had to do one of those little DraftKings hits for giving out picks and things like that. And dude, there's a world where Beneil can win that fight. Like I think he could be in that fight. I'm not saying he's going to, but
so when you look at Beneil Dariush, right, and let's get into it then, main card, 36 years old, right? So he's not a spring chicken in the lightweight division. And people look, because he was finished by Arman Tsarukyan, right, really quickly. Just took a minute, okay? And before that, he was stopped by Charles Oliveira. And then he comes back, he gets a win over Renato Moicano. Before those two losses, though, and there's no shame to Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan, they're two of the best. Before that, it was an 8-fight win streak. He's got a tremendous amount of experience. He's got high-level jiu-jitsu. He was able to beat Renato Moicano, and as we know,
and Gamrot recently.
Beat Gamrot, but MMA math doesn't stack up. But look at what Moicano was able to do to Benoît Saint Denis. Again, doesn't stack up like that, but I'm just saying I think people are overlooking Beneil Dariush in this. Benoît Saint Denis is great. He got that win over Kyle Prepolek, and he got that good win in Paris. Who did he just beat in Paris? Oh, Maurizio Hufi, right?
Yeah.
Great wrestling.
Big win there. Yeah.
Took him down. Pounded him. I forget if it was a rear naked choke or whatever, but I know it was a dominant victory. He used the wrestling to great effect. Hold on, I'll see right now. It was.
It was.
It was a face crank.
You're not doing that. Not doing that to Beneil Dariush. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not beating him up on the ground quite like that. His best chance, I think, is on the feet. Beneil Dariush is a fucking dog on the feet still. He's tricky. He throws big kicks. He's got power in his hands. He can wrestle himself. I think are we doing picks at the end of this for the main card?
We're doing picks right now. We're going through it fight by fight.
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready to make my pick on this one.
Harrington and Brian, jump on, please, and give us a little bit of insight. You know, this is what the people want to know.
And who's the dog in this? Is Beneil the dog? Yeah,
I would imagine so.
I wonder if he's a big dog. If he's a big dog, I think crazy. That's a good bet.
Harrington, what are the odds on this fight?
For this fight, Beneil Dariush is anywhere from plus 150 to plus 165. BSD anywhere from minus 215 to minus 185.
So yeah, he's not a massive underdog, but clearly the underdog. I think that's a little bit wrong. Listen, I've got Beneil Dariush. I think he's got the experience. I think he's got the style. And I think he's probably got a chip on his shoulder as well, because everyone, including the odds maker, is overlooking him. Brian.
Yeah.
I think no matter who wins, the top half of this division looks terrifying for both of the men. But if we're giving picks, I think this is Benoît Saint Denis cracking into the top 10.
What are you saying, Harrington?
I just anytime that age discrepancy graphic comes up, it the way it favors the younger fighter just is astronomical. Benoît Saint Denis comes into this fight at 29. Beneil 36 for the 155-pound division. He is coming off a win, but it's against the fellow 36-year-old. I haven't seen him beat anybody under the age of 30 in, what are we talking, 5 years here, something like that. So I mean, as much as I would love to take Beneil because he is a friend of the show, I'm gonna take the younger guy to do what the younger guys tend to do at MSG.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. And Paul, remember when we were in Paris, when we were speaking to Benoît, he went on.
Yeah, he was all over the place. Yeah,
and he was saying that he got carried away with himself. He had a lot of stardom come his way. He's changed his team. He had a lot of fake friends around him. And that's kind of like what you find. You explode onto the scene. There's not too many big superstars from France. All of a sudden, you're getting a ton of attention. You're getting a lot of sponsorship opportunities, appearances, and it all detracts and takes away from what you're there to do. And he did admit, he said, listen, I kind of got lost in all of it a little bit. And he came back and had that great win over Houfi. But even still, I got to stick to my guns. I'll say Beneil.
I'm going to say Beneil. I'm going to go crazy here. Okay. Why? It's fun. It's fun. It's the show, right? And listen, I might have to talk to Benoît Saint Denis on Saturday. So hopefully he doesn't watch the Believe You Me podcast yet. Hopefully next week he'll start watching it. But I'm going to go crazy and say Beneil Dariush by finish. I don't know how, but I'm going to say
finish. Well, if you look at what Renato Moicano did to Benoît. That was a crazy dominant performance.
Yeah.
Destroyed him. You know?
He did destroy him. But again, we both know he was not in a good place, and he looked great in his last fight against Houfi. So I'm still going to go. I'm going to stick with my old man.
The way he fights, it feels like he's never going to get to a decision. Like he's either going to get that finish in the first or second round, or he's going to be a sitting duck come round 3.
100% right. And I love that about him because he'd rather give everything in him to win, even if that means he loses in there by finish, because it's better than him conserving to a decision. He's not that kind of guy, right? He's going to lay it all out there, and he gets a little wild. If he gets a little wild against Beneil, I still think there's a world where he gets caught in something. And I just think as an underdog, I'm going to go with Beneil. Could I be wrong? 1,000% on this one. Benoît might come out and be the younger guy and fucking smash him. But
because Benoît's a violent guy. You know?
Yeah, he's out of his mind in there, man. He's out of his mind. He may knock him out in the first round. For all
like all the French special forces stuff and the French Foreign League or whatever it was that he was in. And when you speak to him, which we have, you can see there's like a madness behind his eyes. You know what I mean? This is the man that's killed people in battle. You know what I mean? This is nothing to me, but this is just business. Shocking underdogs, big knockouts, and lightning fast submissions. That's the beauty of the UFC. Every card's got a fight where the odds don't tell the whole story, and that's where money is made at MyBookie. This weekend's card is stacked with chances to do it again. And on MyBookie, you get all of the action. Fight props, live betting, and boosts that turn good calls into big payouts. If you still haven't tried MyBookie, what are you even doing? Call yourself an MMA fan, get involved with MyBookie, and use the code BELIEVE. And your first bet, up to $500, is fully covered. If you miss, then you can get it right back with your bet back bonus. This is where you take your shot. Build your bankroll and roll into Sunday football with house money. You don't need luck when you've got the right book. Play with MyBookie. And remember, the code is BELIEVE to get that bet back bonus. All right, moving on. This is a fight I'm very excited for. Carlos Prates versus Leon Edwards. Right?
Yeah.
I'll set the tone. I'll set the table straight away. Leon Edwards needs to win this fight big time if he's going to continue to be regarded as one of the top dogs at welterweight.
Yeah, that's
He became the champ. He defended against Kamaru. He defended against Colby. He made it look easy. He gets ragdolled by Bilal. He gets submitted by Sean Brady. He's lost his last 2 in a row. He's still relatively young at 34 years old, but I just think stylistically, this is kind of a hard matchup because Carlos Prates, okay, stylistically, he's a striker. So you could say that this favors the pair of them. Leon, and I'll choose my words as respectfully as I can. I'm looking at his record here. 22 wins, 7 knockouts. So historically, he's not a knockout guy. Yeah, he knocked out Kamaru Usman, and that was phenomenal. That head kick will forever be on highlight reels, you know? But I think given all the 5-round experience that he's had, given the championship style, given the fact that he backs up against the fence because he's trying to stop takedowns, and he does play the underhook game very well, and he's got a tremendous amount of experience, and he's beaten Kamaru twice, and he's beaten Colby, and Bilal Muhammad, he lost to, but I'm just looking here. There's other wrestlers, Gunnar Nelson. When you fight
he had a great fight against Gunnar.
When you fight that style all the time, it kind of subconsciously alters your style. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, like when we're young, we're like reckless, we're aggressive, we just go out in a blaze of glory, you're smashing people up, you know, but then the older you get, the more sophisticated you become, the more you understand the game and you're trying to be technical. It kind of takes away from that animalistic side. And Carlos Prates still has that in spades.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this guy's smoking cigarettes and trying to keep himself out of the club just so he can get to the fight. He's still got that raw youngness in him and that youthfulness. And he's, I think it's a bad idea if Leon does even get backed up along that fence. Prates is so good at kind of measuring, throwing spinning attacks, throwing that nasty knee up the middle. He's got good kicks to the body and to the legs too. I agree with you 100% though, that this Leon has got to step on the fucking gas in this fight. He can't do that. And that may be another problem for him. He's got to go and be aggressive. He can't just sit back. It's only 3 rounds too with Prates. He doesn't have 5 rounds to figure out their timing in this one. He's got 3 rounds to absolutely get up and go on it. And like you said, you get to a certain point in your career, you've been fighting these 5-rounders, you've been fighting these high-level guys that are trying to take you down. Now you got this raw, crazy younger guy in front of you with massive knockout potential. I don't know, man. He does look to be in phenomenal shape, but Leon always looks to be in phenomenal shape when he comes into these fights.
Well, listen, Leon he hasn't got a problem with showing up out of shape. He doesn't get complacent. He's professional. Yeah. He shows up. He's going to be in shape. He's going to have the cardio to go 5 rounds if he wants to go 5 rounds. You know, like people always say, and you'll probably agree with this, Paul, if you get in shape to do 3 rounds, you can do 5 rounds. You know what I'm saying? If you're in true shape. But the problem is just historically, he doesn't have that kind of power. Whereas Prates, and again, that's not an insult. It's not an insult. Of course, he's got knockouts and he's capable of knocking people out. But Prates is knocking everyone out. Ever since he was on the Contender Series, it's knockouts non-stop. 22 wins, 17 knockouts. Jeff Neal, Neil Magny, Li Jingliang, Charles Radke, Trevin Giles, and Mitch Ramirez.
He hasn't won a decision in the UFC. He lost by decision, but he is not. And that went 5 rounds. So for a guy that smokes the cigs and likes to go out, he showed that, and he was most dangerous in the 5th round against Ian Machado Gary, which is insane.
And that's 5 performance bonuses in his last 6 fights.
Yeah.
So that's a dude who likes the money. I think he's going to go out there and do this.
The money. He don't want to stay around long. You know that. Prates don't want to stay around long. He can't wait to start just barbecuing and drinking and hanging out and being cool. Like he's doing this to make that bread and get the hell out of here. I don't even know if Prates really cares about the belt, man.
See, that's another thing as well, because when you become the champion and when everything's kind of rested on this image that you have and you're one of the faces of British mixed martial arts, and you're in talks still for trying to become a champion again. It's all pressure. It's all noise. It's all distractions. It's all stuff that goes on in between your ears. Whereas to your point, Prates doesn't seem to exemplify those kind of traits where he doesn't really care. And yeah, that can have downfalls where you don't care as much and you're not as professional, and maybe you're having a few tequilas and smoking a few ciggies, but it also makes you reckless, and it also makes you dangerous, and it also makes you willing to go forward and say, you know what, I was going to go and swing. He didn't do that against Gary, but he learned his lesson.
And he came back, and look at what he did to Neil. He went for it the whole time the fight lasted. It wasn't like he just caught him. He was on from the beginning of that fight, landing shots, looking dangerous, being aggressive. And I think he knows, like, okay. And again, for a guy that's maybe not necessarily putting all his hopes and dreams on becoming UFC champion, and rather wants to be known for being this exciting knockout machine, what's he going to do? He's going to continue to get in your face and go for it. And if he knows Leon Edwards is a guy that tends to sit back, wait for the perfect shot, could open up opportunities for Prates, or he could walk on to something.
Here's what I think Leon's going to do. I think he's going to grapple him.
Yeah, he might.
He shot on Sean Brady, right? That was the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
He shot on Sean Brady, got sprawled, and then that was the downfall, and he got finished. He took down Kamaru Usman both times, I think, when they fought.
I think did he take down? He might have even gotten on top of Bilal for a while. I think that's when he was elbowing him in one round. So he can definitely, and dude, he had really good moments against Gunnar Nelson when they were fighting too. And he can grapple. It's not a terrible idea for him to be the one to mix it up, because he's still dangerous on the feet. Carlos won't if he can get behind strikes before he does it and wait for Carlos to throw one of those big kicks or a big knee and get a hold of something, you can get him down.
Yeah. No, I think we are going to see that. I think he's going to try and surprise him and take him down. I'm going to lose some UK passport points. But Prates winning. I've got to keep it real. I can't lie.
Of course.
Oh, but Bisping's always biased for the UK fighters. I'm not. I just speak my mind. But I got Carlos Prates. I got to say it.
You're going to get an offensive speech charge the next time you go back.
Oh, exactly. True. I'm going to get arrested.
That's true.
God damn.
You're going to get a demerit.
Hey, he's from Birmingham. There was all kinds of madness going on at the weekend, I believe, in Birmingham. All kinds of riots and stuff I saw online.
I saw something in Paris, too, I thought, where it was getting crazy, too.
The world's going crazy. Harrington, who have you got, and what are the odds?
Yeah, what are the odds? Prates got to be a favorite.
Prates is the favorite. Similar to the last fight, he's anywhere from -200 to -215. If you're on Leon Edwards, you can get him for between +160 to +170.
I thought, because he was, I saw Leon was talking about Ian Gary, and he had a good point. He said Ian Gary, his proudest moment is not getting finished by Shavkat Rakhmonov, and he does talk about that a lot. And Leon said that his 3-step plan, if you will, to becoming the champion is beat Carlos Prates, then defeat Ian Gary, which I would love to see that matchup, whether he wins or loses, to be honest, and then fight for the belt. But it all starts with beating Carlos Prates.
Sure does.
You know what Carlos Prates' 3-step plan is?
Smoke a cig.
Hold on.
Edwards.
Beat Leon Edwards, smoke a pack of ciggies, get wasted in the bar. 4th step, take some piece of Vars back to the room.
That's what I'm saying. Like, to Paul's point, like, this is not necessarily a man who's chasing a title. He likes being in big moments in big spots. He's on the main card on pay-per-view at Madison Square Garden against a former title challenger. Leon Edwards is already thinking about Ian Gary, who he's got heat with. He's already thinking about the winner of Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam for the title and how he's going to get his path there. I think for two guys who have both started, like, quote unquote, started slow at times, Prates gets going a lot quicker than Leon Edwards does. And in a 3-round fight, I just don't see the path.
Yeah, and I do think that's going to be a big issue. I do like, though, I don't mind, should I say, that Leon's talking about Ian Gary. Because, when you speak to fighters all the time, they won't give you an answer. Oh, I'm not looking past Saturday night. I don't think there's any problem in that. You want to have a vision. You want to have an idea where you're going and who you want next. And I think all fighters do. And they just say,
They do.
They all do that.
They do.
They do.
Because I used to be the guy that would be like, well, I'm not looking past Dan Hooker on Saturday or Sunday. But in my mind,
You're damn well looking past him.
I'm calling out Gaethje, Poirier, Connor. All of these guys are on my mind. I know I just have to beat him first. And it's on your mind. You're 100% right. That
because they don't want to say that.
Even Prates. Well, Prates might be one that maybe isn't thinking about what goes on past Saturday. He might be thinking more about what goes on after Saturday night in New York City than he is about who he's going to be fighting next in the octagon.
Because Carlos
that
Prates,
I believe.
So sorry, because most fighters, they do know what they want to do next. But a lot of them, they don't want to say anything because they're afraid they're going to look silly if they lose.
Yes. And that was always with me. I was always like, all right, I'm just going to keep it about this. I might say that there's things that I'm going to mention and it's in my mind, but yeah, you're all thinking it. We're all thinking it. You're lying if you're not. I as well am going to go with Carlos Prates. I just think, I think if they're both going to strike, and I think Carlos does have good enough takedown defense that if Leon tries to flip the script on him, I think he'll be able to handle it, even if he drops moments in the fight because he ends up on his back for a little bit. We saw that he's able to weather the storm there usually and still be dangerous when he gets back up.
I remember just going back to what we were saying a second ago about, believing in yourself that you're going to win the fight and making predictions and talking about who you want next. I had a few fights on the same card as Demetrius Johnson. And I remember we were doing a media day in LA. And this is Demetrius Johnson, who was defending the belt for the 23rd time or something stupid. And even at the media day, he refused to say that he thought he was going to win. And you know me, I was brash and full of it, and I said, Demetrius, why won't you just say, I'm going to go out and I'm going to whoop this guy's ass. I'm going to win. I'm very confident. And he was like, well, what if I don't? I'm going to look stupid. I'm like, well, yeah, that's the risk we all take. You know what I mean? But say it.
Yeah, it's crazy how different people can be in the same kind of sport where it's all violence, it's all craziness. Everything we're doing is wild, but yet some guys won't even admit that they think that they're going to win. Won't say that they think they're going to win on Saturday.
Are we saying that this is a clean sweep for Leon Edwards? No one's picking Leon?
Brian?
Nobody?
Not me. I'm not. I mean, Carlos Prates is looking for another bonus.
Hey, it does sound like we're advocating for smoking cigarettes, like we were talking at the start of the show. If you smoke cigarettes, it doesnst matter as long as you work out. If you smoke cigarettes in the UFC, you're still going to be able to beat a former champion. It's all good. Guys, go out there, develop a 40-a-day habit. You're going to go to the top. We also have, after that, your boy, Sean Brady, Michael Morales. You know Sean. You're in the gym with him all the time. He's a good friend of yours. Lead this discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I love that Sean is willing to fight these other contenders in the division, and it's dangerous. It's always dangerous. But he's of the mindset now, and I think this is something that really shifted in him from a few years ago before he lost to Bilal. He didn't have that same kind of self-belief and confidence that he's got now. And just after going in there and finishing Leon in, his home country in England and looking the way he did and accepting this fight, I think Sean's going to get it done. I did it for the DraftKings thing too. I think a late sub for Sean. I think Morales is going to be really, really effing scary early on. I think if Sean can hold him and get a hold of him at any points in the first and second round, anytime that he's on top, it will be the beginning of the end for Morales. But Morales I do agree that he's a scary striker and he is massive for the division. So props to Sean for stepping up because he's a guy that people don't want to fight. I think that's safe to say that where he's in the rankings, how young he is, how fresh he is to the UFC, people are like, no, there's not as much upside with taking him out.
I'm just looking at, because when we look at Michael Morales, we talk about a striker and Sean Brady being the wrestler or the grappler, shall we say. And I remember I did him on the Contender. I called his fight on the Contender. So you get a lot of their backstory when we do the Contender. He grew up, both parents were judo experts, judokas.
Yeah.
They trained him since he was a little kid. They met when they were young. Both parents repped Ecuador internationally, and his mother went to the Beijing Olympics. He started judo at 5 years old, later transitioned to Greco-Roman wrestling. He repped Ecuador internationally in wrestling, then started mixed martial arts and Muay Thai. He had 3 national wins in Thai boxing. So anyway, the point I'm making is he does have a judo and a wrestling background. So he's going to have very, very strong hips. He strikes first and grapples second. The reality is it comes down to this, and I said this when I did a TNT sports show. Can he stop the takedown? Simple as that. If he can stop the takedown, it's a very winnable fight. But if Sean Brady gets success and is able to shoot on him, he's able to get him down to the canvas, then we all know how dangerous Sean is down there. How's he looking in practice?
I mean, I haven't been down there in a long time, honestly, with this schedule I have. But I was talking to him the other day, and he's been working a lot of sparring rounds with Pfeiffer, who's a big ass 85er, and that's who he's been doing all his rounds with. I'm sure he's a similar height to Morales, and he feels good, man. He feels good. I don't even like to go down there too much when he's in camp because, like, I'm not training with him. He's gonna beat the shit out of me, and I'm just there as a distraction. So I'll wait until he's done, and then we can playfully maybe move around in the gym and watch him train and stuff like that.
Michael Morales, there was a ton of content around him a while ago. I forget what it was now.
Oh, he's wearing the dress.
He was wearing the dress. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Like leaning into a car or something, looking like a call girl or something.
Yeah. It's like apparently something they do where he's from, where they
like
it's
a dress
like a day that they all dress up like that. Yeah. I forget what it was, but yeah.
Like Mexico has the Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
Ecuador has the
Day of the Drag Queen.
Day of the Drag Queen. There you go. Yeah, I agree. I've got Sean Brady. You know, Morales 18-0, 13 knockouts, 1 submission. He's no slouch on the feet.
And is he the dog? Is he the dog in this, Harrington?
Oh, sorry.
Right. I think it's a pick'em, right?
I was just looking up the that tradition that we were talking about. Sean Brady is actually in some places a sizable favorite between minus 157 and minus 140. Looks like the best you're going to get on Morales is between plus 115 and plus 125.
Okay. Yeah, I've got Brady. I mean, it's not just simply because, you know, he's Paul's boy and he's a friend of the show and he's a great guy and all the rest of it. And I have a better relationship with him than what I do Michael Morales. I just think stylistically, you know, it's a very winnable fight for Sean.
Yeah.
And then we get into the 2 title fights. Should we break this up with a little bit of non-MMA stuff?
Sure.
Before we go into it, hardcore analysis. Harrison, what have we got? He's got some mental ones in, which I did speak about beforehand. Let's go.
Some of them are quite silly.
I'm interested in kind of interested in how stupid this is. The new social media trend.
Okay, so there is a new trend on social media that's going viral. It is called dark showering. This is a practice where people will, like, if they shower early in the day, they'll black out all the windows and just try to make it dark. The idea is to be showering in complete darkness. They say that just having light on is, increasing some kind of stimuli, raising your cortisol, et cetera, lowering melatonin. So by lowering all that light that you're getting while you're taking a shower, it helps your body relax, wind down, and get to bed earlier.
Yeah, no shit. So, like, what kind of dork, though, is going out there and going, guys, this new thing, dark showering, like our ancestors used to do before there was television and stimuli and social media and blue light penetrating your eyeballs and messing with your circadian rhythm? Shut the hell up, okay? Nobody gives a flying fuck, right? Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I get it, but shut up.
Yeah. They've been on their phone all day, but then take a dark. Can you hear any of the screaming going on?
No, what's going on? The baby?
My 3-year-old is losing her mind lately. She's at that toddler phase where it's this or I'm going to scream at the top of my lungs and lay on the floor and kick my feet until I get it.
Stick her in a cold shower with no light.
That's what we should do. That's exactly what we should do. Sorry. Yeah, but I agree. It's some of these things, it's ridiculous. It's like we can't be our ancestors unless you want to go live in some wilderness place with no technology, doing nothing but hunt your own food and battling animals and dinosaurs. It's just not realistic. So do the things that you can that are a lot simpler than shutting off the windows and come on.
Well. I mean, there is, I guess, some validity to it, because modern society and culture is the downfall of the human species. Because, like, taking a cold shower is good for you. Apparently, taking a dark cold shower is even better for you.
Yeah.
There's a thing that in my house now that Rebecca's trying to get me to do, and I struggle doing it. Is that don't. And again, she saw it on social media. Don't look at your phone for like the first 30, 40 minutes of waking up.
Yeah.
Because you wake up, the first thing you do is lean over, you look at your phone and check it, whatever. Because it overloads your brain with a ton of stress, like a ton of
my alarm is on my phone.
Yeah. Well, no, there is that. But like emails. And then all of a sudden you're getting text messages. Then if you look on social media, there's bad news, there's stuff happening, there's bloody hurricanes in Jamaica or whatever, and it's just overloading your brain with all this stress, and apparently releases a tremendous amount of cortisol into your system. And our brains, our fragile little brains, aren't designed for that, Paul.
That makes sense, though. That is a doable, reasonable one, other than taking pitch black showers at night. I think that's extreme. Not looking at your phone before bed when you first wake up. I put my phone on airplane mode when it's over on the bedside table. Yeah, I do that and take it off the Wi-Fi. I do all that. The alarm is set, so I only can hear the alarm. I'm not getting messages through the night or anything like that. So, I mean, I do those little things too. And I try not to look at it too much when I first wake up. Same as you, though. Some days something pops up. It's important. I take it.
I lean over, I take my phone off the airplane mode, and then bing, bing, bing. A few messages come in.
All the messages.
I'm looking. Simple as that. And then that's it. Sucked into the matrix once again. That's it. I'm just a little pawn. No, the one I wanted to talk about was a new national survey, according to Harrington's research, suggests that only 1 in 3 Americans, suggests 1 in 3 Americans struggles to do just 5 push-ups. And Harrington, you got to jump on and give some context to this, because I find that really hard to believe.
So it was a study done by a university. They were asking people who were actively engaging in fitness, just trying to gauge, where they were at with certain things. It found that over half of Americans struggle with doing 10 push-ups, and as much as a third over half can't do 10 push-ups consecutively, and over a third struggle with just doing 5 in a row.
Granted, there's probably a lot of old people, if you're saying half of Americans, but if you can't do 5 push-ups, if you can't do 10 push-ups, if anybody listening to this is young enough, if you're, I'll say under 60, certainly under 50, and you can't do 5 or 10 push-ups, you need to get a handle on that straight away, guys.
You're weak.
Okay, but like,
I'll go one further. You're pathetic.
My wrist and elbow are
How many push-ups can you do?
Bro, look at my wrist.
Yeah.
My elbow's destroyed, by the way, because I arm wrestled one of the power slappers that benches like 600 pounds. I got to feel the strength there, and ever since then, my elbow's destroyed. But I still get up and go to the gym every day. You got to work out, man. If you can't do 5 push-ups, that is alarming. That is a warning sign that you need to fix some shit.
Clearly I need to fix my wrist and elbow. Like, I can do the equivalent work of 5 push-ups, but the actual act of like my body weight on my supporting muscles and tendons can't handle it.
Have you ever tried holding dumbbells, Harrington, so your wrists are straight and holding it?
Yeah.
That helps.
Hold on a minute, Harrington. Are you a part of these 1 in 3 Americans that can't do 5 push-ups?
I genuinely
There's
don't know if I can
four
make
of-
it through all 5.
There's 4
Right,
of
but
us here.
Can we test now? Is there a way that we can angle your camera?
Oh, I like this.
should work.
No,
Yeah, we got to see this. I reckon I could bang out 75.
you have a 3-year-old. Just
Straight?
Get her
Straight,
on the
I reckon.
camera.
Yeah.
I could
75
do
is
probably.
You probably could do 75.
I
You
reckon,
probably could.
yeah, I can
I
bang
don't know if I
50
can
out.
get-
That's a
can't
fact.
get-
And I
can't
reckon
get
if like
75. Depends on how strict we're being with them too. If we're like pumping, I can do a lot more. But if
right
we're
here we go.
doing, like,
Harrington's
all the way
is
up.
getting in position.
Let's go. I
This
love
is-
the
this
kids'
is good.
toys right
Fair
next
play,
to you.
Harrington, for being a good sport.
Hold
Thank
on,
you
hold
very
on.
much.
I got you.
Right,
I
one.
got you.
Down he goes. That's good. 1.
Oh, you got this. Let's go. Let's go. Let's
2,
go.
you got 20. Faster. Do it faster, Harrington. That'll help you. 3, 4.
Oh, you
Come
got
on.
this, Harrington.
5. Keep it going. 6,
At least
Dude,
it's
you're
not in
gonna
the bottom
seven.
one.
smoke this dude.
8. Come on. 9. You got 20 at this rate. You got 20. This is podcasting at its finest.
Easy.
He's on the knees.
What?
You
I
gotta
don't.
get the 10.
Yo, I have not been able to do 10 in a row in probably 5 years.
It
That's
just took the
crazy.
pressure of thousands of people watching you.
And you did
Yeah.
it, man.
I
did
my
it.
opponent has no chance.
You,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think he does.
If I could
I
do
was
5
gonna say-
push-ups now,
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, and this is Harrington that's been doing a training camp and talking a lot of shit on social media.
It's
glad you backed it up,
actually
though.
fucking wild how much shit you talk on the internet, Harrington.
I know.
Bro.
I've been following along. I'm enjoying
Hey,
it.
Brian, play like one of his videos off his Instagram where he walks in and he's like, he's getting the shower and it shows his saggy ass.
That was great.
I'm just
Oh,
not
man,
trying to
we have
make
fun.
you
We have fun.
censor
But yeah, I'm
fans.
shocked I was able to do that. Usually my wrist and my elbow on my left-hand side give out. So I can understand that if people are like injured. But yeah, dog, if I'm in better shape than you, get it together.
Oh, here's Harry. Look at him. Look at him. Oh, God, there he is. Rocky Balboa.
I'm gonna be rocking the Bisping Santa balls in the ring. I'm excited.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Let's go. So you're fighting Saturday night, by the way. All the best. Just real quick, who are you fighting?
I am fighting Jake. He works for my wife. He's intern
Some
for the Legion of Skanks.
other degenerate.
Yeah.
Do you guys, let me ask you this, and you don't have to answer this if it's to hype this up even more. Do you actually not like each other, or is this just all in fun?
No, my thing with him is he's just been around this world for like 3 years and has never done anything productive at all, right? He's still going and getting drinks for these guys. So the stakes that we have on this, when I beat him up, he has to be my intern for a year, do literally whatever I say, and I'm going to turn him into someone who's hireable by the end of that year. I guarantee it.
All right.
So
So,
you're
it's
gonna-
for a good cause, then, if
Yeah.
anything. All right,
You're
like-
being cruel to be kind,
Yes.
Mhm.
which could be, another term. You're going to bully him straight for a year.
Yeah. Hey, it worked on me.
It sure did.
You
it's a
guys
work
get
in
2 years. I have a wife and a baby now.
That is.
Look at me now.
That is a fair point. Right. Shevchenko, Zhang Li, Valentina Shevchenko. She's awesome. She's great. She's defended about what? I don't know how many times. If you go back to, hold on, let me just look down at her record. She has been in straight title fights since 2017. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 straight UFC title fights in a row going back to 2017. To say that she's had a successful career is beyond an understatement. It's insane.
I've always loved Valentina. I was joking on the broadcast on Saturday when we were hyping this fight up that I was sort of joking with Christine when we were about to have our new baby, who's now Stella, that I thought about naming her Valentina. And I'm like,
Because it's a cool name or because
it's a cool
Valentina's
name,
just
and
awesome?
because of maybe she'll be a badass like Valentina Shevchenko, because she's a badass and she's a sweetheart and she's a G and a professional. I love her. I really like Zhang Li too, but I think it's a great fight and it's a great opportunity for both these ladies to prove just how great.
I can't hear it.
Chaos upstairs. I'm glad you guys can't hear it. And it's Ruby. It's always Ruby, my middle child. Go figure.
Bloody Ruby. Again, no, I was saying recently, like in modern Hollywood, you have the female character that can beat the crap out of everyone. 300-pound guys, she can head kick them and they all fall down. And she can fly planes. And she's a spy and she's a computer expert and she's really good with guns and all the rest of it. That is literally Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah.
Literally. You know what I mean? It's like all these super spy agents were based on Valentina Shevchenko. She is the living embodiment of all of those, for the most part, nonsense Hollywood characters.
Yeah. She shoots guns like crazy. She like travels all over the world and like does her camps wherever. She just kind of like travels with her people, speaks all these different languages. She may be a secret operative that we just don't know about. I wouldn't be surprised. And they're like, yeah, just keep doing your fighting thing and nobody will know.
Yeah. And then obviously on the flip side, Zhang Weili, again, she's awesome. She's great. I love her attitude. 26 wins, 3 losses. The only 2 losses in the UFC. Rose Namajunas twice in a row. Got caught with that head kick, came back, lost a decision, but then obviously beats Joanna Jędrzejczyk, defends Esparza to become the champ, and then defends against Lemos, Zhao. Last time, Tatiana Suarez. She's a really good athlete. She's got the weight of the pressure of China behind her. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's motivation.
You might be off this earth if you don't do well. They might just that's it. You let the country down, Zhang. Sorry. Gotta go.
Did you call Shanghai, Paul? Were you in China?
No.
I liked it. I had a great time.
That's not where your room didn't have AC, right?
Oh, no,
that was in Macau.
It didn't have AC in China. Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, no, that was shit. That was shit.
I've never been to China. I've never been to China yet. Isn't that crazy?
It's great. I'll be honest. It seems like everyone there is living a great life. You know what I mean? They really are. And by the way, I'm not advocating for communism before you all bloody start. You gotta be careful with that one.
Go visit New York.
We're not getting into politics, Paul. It's a new rule.
I wonder how Brian and Harrington are feeling about the whole situation.
In fact, I want to know that. I want to know the answer to that. Harrington and Brian, how are you feeling with your new mayor?
Better than the alternative. That's all I'm going to say.
I have nothing to say at the moment. We'll see.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Not as much as I thought.
I voted for the guy in the beret. That's all I know, dude. That's my dude.
Did you see the SNL bit?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the SNL bit about it?
Yeah. He's the GOAT.
I voted for the Grandma Slayer just because.
Show me a picture of the dude in the beret. Bring that picture up, Harrington, for the people that don't know.
Show us some courtesy. Curtis Sliwa. The man met my baby and kissed her like any good mayor should. So the guy will have my vote forever in any race he runs in.
The guy with the beret met your baby.
Yeah, Curtis Sliwa.
He was literally out there kissing babies.
He was out there shaking hands and kissing babies.
There he is.
Look at this guy. Such a G, dude.
What is the beret for?
For the Guardian Angels. So like in the 70s when it was like literally Death Wish in New York City, he would go and patrol the subways and like help women getting attacked.
Yeah.
And it was like a bunch of his boys in berets. It was kind of weird, but kind of.
Yeah. All right, going back to the fight. So I struggle. I think Zhang Weili's really talented. I think she's really driven. I think she's a phenomenal athlete. She's very strong for the weight class, but weight classes are there for a reason. I think Shevchenko's been around a long time. Doesn't seem to be slowing down. Yeah, you could look at that loss to Alexa Grasso, but she came back. She won the rematch. She's wrestling a lot more these days as well. I think if Zhang can't take it down, it turns into a kickboxing match. I think that favors Shevchenko. I think she's naturally the bigger, stronger lady that's used to fighting bigger, stronger ladies. I think that all goes in her favor.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm going with Shevchenko on this one. I'm not going to almost name a daughter after that name and then not pick her in this fight. And I agree. I think size and not only that the fact that she's fought a bunch at 135 before she dropped down to flyweight and did so well even there. And then at flyweight, I just think it's her damn division. I really do. I don't I don't know who's going to take that belt from her. She might be retired and gone before it happens.
And I think she's almost completed the rubies on the belt.
Oh, wow. She'd be the first one to do that, right?
Isn't that's amazing? It really is. For those that don't know, every time you defend the belt, you get a ruby in the belt. She's 37 now, but Zhang Weili is 36. So she's right behind her.
That's a no point. Yeah.
She filled up the rubies in her last fight because it translates between like defenses. So like she did lose the belt, but she has enough back that she has the 8 rubies.
Like nobody's going to do that again.
But does she get all the belts as well? Because I don't, I want the belt, all right, stick a ruby in one of the belts, but give me another belt.
Yeah, I think they do maybe give them at least a replica of the belt to keep it home for all the championships they win. Or they used to, I know back in the day, if you defended it, they just gave you the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe they don't anymore. That would be lame.
So I just
remember.
I have a picture here of her with like a bunch of the new belts behind her. So, she at the very least, they give you the option to order a replica.
Yeah, I remember when I defended against Dan Henderson, I was packing to go to Manchester. And I was like, do I pack the belt? So I called Dana. I'm like, Dana, what do? I'm defending the belt. Do I bring the belt? And he went, nah, it's fine. We'll give you a new one. I'm like, come on. That's the answer I was looking for.
So according to the internet here, it says that since they changed the belts, no, UFC champions don't get a new belt for every defense. Instead, they just receive a single personalized championship belt, and then that's updated with a ruby.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if you believe everything you read online, but that's what the internet says.
Yeah.
So we've all got Chev. What about Brian and Harrington?
Oh, yeah. She wins fights until she doesn't want to fight anymore, for sure. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just because I'm contrarian by nature, but I mean, I think Zhang gets it done. I think Zhang Weili gets it done. I was considering naming my daughter Weili, so I have to.
You're such a liar.
But no, I don't know. I think
nicely done.
Weili Harrington.
Weili Harrington. It would look great. Or sound great. I don't know, man. I can't ever underestimate this woman. I did it one too many times. I've seen. Maybe not this most recent iteration of Valentina, who's looked like an absolute assassin ever since the Grasso fight. But I will say I can't doubt Zhang. I've seen Valentina be checked out before, so I think this is the last thing Zhang has to do, and then she too can hang it up and head into retirement. But I think she gets it done here.
Zhang Harrington.
That's got a ring to it.
It's like it could be your Sly family alongside the BISPING'S in China. All right, this episode is sponsored by Vandy chips. Look, have you ever taken a look at a nutrition label on your typical bag of chips? You'll find a chemical cocktail, seed oils, MSG, artificial dyes, vague natural flavors, and ingredients that sound more like a science experiment than a snack. Now, these things, they are fantastic. They taste delicious, and Vandy crisps contain just 3 ingredients, like they're supposed to. 100% pesticide-free potatoes, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. That is it. No seed oils, no mystery chemicals, just real food. Oh, where you can taste the difference. I'm telling you, these things taste absolutely delicious. 1 second, please. With Vandy, you feel satisfied, light, energetic. There's no crash, bloat, or sluggish feeling afterwards. And because they're chips made with real food, they are more satiating, so you won't find yourself uncontrollably binging and still feeling hungry afterwards. They do a bunch of great flavors: French onion, herbs de Provence. They got the smokehouse barbecue. These ones, they're natural. They are absolutely delicious. And guess what? It's because they are made with just 3 ingredients. If you want to give these a try, use the code BELIEVE for 25% off your first order at vandycrisps.com or massachips.com. or just simply click the link in the video description or scan the QR code to claim this delicious offer. Don't feel like ordering online? Vandy and Masa are now available nationwide at your local Sprouts supermarket. Stop by and pick up a couple of bags before they're all gone, because I'm telling you, you don't want to miss out. They taste delicious. They're good for you. There's no terrible ingredients, just good old-fashioned delicious crisps. Right, we got through it all. Main event, Jad de la Madalena, Islam Makhachev. We've talked about this a lot. Jad de la Madalena's got the boxing. Islam's got the wrestling. I saw a thing this morning on Twitter. Somebody said, oh, if Islam loses, does that affect his legacy? And I responded, I put, no. And everyone's like, why? Explain. And I thought that's pretty obvious. He's the greatest lightweight fighter that the sport's ever seen. He defended the belt 4 times. He's beaten great fighters. Just because he goes up to 170 and potentially might lose to Jack, I don't think that would affect the work he's done in the past.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think people will judge him like the people asking you why it doesn't affect his legacy. But I think in terms of his lightweight status, I mean, we saw Max Holloway fail at trying to go up to 155 pounds and then went off and continued to rattle off wins at 145 pounds. But the difference is now they make you lose the belt. So now Ilya's got the belt. So if he goes back down, you're not starting off as the champion. Whereas back in the day, they were trying to let guys be both. You hold the belt in 2 different divisions, where I still don't think it affects his legacy. I still think he has the ability to go back down to 155 if he wants to. I think he's just testing it out. Now, obviously, if he wins it, then he's there for a while. But that certainly just increases his legacy by a ton. I think a loss to Jack just shows that he's a little bit human. That's it.
Well, if he wins,
it's a big risk, big reward for him. I mean, if he goes and beats up Jack and gets that belt, then he is top of the pound for pound list, no doubt.
Well, he becomes a double champion, of which there is only, I'm going to say 12,
15.
15. I don't know. Who was the first ever double champ, Paul?
Conor McGregor.
No, incorrect.
No. I thought you meant simultaneous double. He was the first simultaneous double champ.
First ever double champ.
Couture?
Randy Couture.
Yeah.
Second. I know the answer.
The second Conor? Somebody else do it.
Another old school guy.
I'll give you a hint. He has more arrests this year than title wins.
DJ Penn?
Oh, you're a dickhead, Harrington. That's a legend
sorry.
you're talking about there. It's a goddamn legend. Okay?
I agree. I just wanted to give a hint. It was a good hint.
It was a good hint. I knew who you meant right away.
It was a good hint.
Randy Couture, BJ Penn. Then I think it was Conor McGregor. DC.
You're forgetting one.
Nunes.
Forgetting one.
Well, spit it out.
You were there for it. Yeah, there you go.
Who else?
So it was McGregor, GSP, DC, Amanda Nunes, Cejudo, and John Jones.
John Jones. That's what I was forgetting.
Alex and Ilya.
Alex Pereira, of course, and Ilya Taporia. Yeah. So is that 10? Regardless, anyway, it's a very select group that he will be joining.
Not many in the terms of how many people have fought in the UFC or been champion even in the UFC.
People talk about the striking, obviously, of Jack. When you look at Islam Makhachev, he did knock out Alexander Volkanovski cold, pretty much.
Yeah, beautiful
head kick. No one else has done that. He did have moments on the feet against Dustin Poirier, who's a very, very good striker.
Yeah, I don't think he's a terrible striker at all. I just think he's very basic, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I think he knows what works, and he uses it to great effect mixed in with his advanced grappling, right? But he's not afraid to trade, which is why I think Islam does have so much success with not having to shoot over and over. Like Khabib was just a maniac when it came to pressure and wrestling and just throwing big punches into his shots. He never let off the gas. Whereas Islam can sit, pick shots, trade with you for a little bit, get close enough, then try to grab you. He still has failed shot attempts, and then he still manages to get it to the ground, but nowhere near like, his mentor, Habib, who would just be shooting from across the cage, didn't give a shit, was just trying to get a hold of you. Islam is much more willing to strike. Is that a problem, though? Is that a problem? At any moment, if you look at Belal was forced to kind of have to exchange at length with Jack. And the longer you give him, Jack shows up in great shape. I've been watching some of his YouTube and stuff like that, man. He seems very dialed. He's got Volk coming and visiting him. They've been specifically going over it. And Craig Jones, who just seems to really understand these guys on a level to be able to defend it. I love this fight. I cannot wait to go there and be in the arena for this fight. I love Jack Della Maddalena, even though he's in my boys' division. He's in Bilal's division, but
you're not going to be in the arena.
No, I'll be backstage. But
I did it in Abu Dhabi. I was so annoyed. I was just there watching it on a small monitor.
You can't leave at all.
You can. You can bounce in and out and walk around with your VIP bloody credential and, give it that shit, but you're not in a seat. You're not enjoying the fights.
Yeah, no.
You're not there, Paul. You're there to work.
The only fight I want to ask them to go out and honestly watch for a second is Sean's fight. I was like, do you think I can go out, watch it, and then run back before the winner is announced? It's like, they're like, we could probably get you a seat behind the commentators for a minute. Even if I have to stand, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's what I was doing, obviously, when the fights were going on with Tom and Cyril and all the rest of it. When you look at Islam Makhachev, so I said, and I've said this a few times, the perfect warm-up fight for Jack Della Maddalena is fighting Belal Muhammad and beating him the way that he did, right? Self-explanatory. Don't need to go into that. However, you got to remember this is Islam Makhachev, and it is a different level. And that's not no disrespect to Belal Muhammad, but it's Islam. I mean, look at the record, 27 wins, 1 loss. And look at what he did to Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira just looked like a monster against Mateusz Gamrot. Islam just dominated him the whole fight and then got that head and arm triangle in the second round. Volkanovski 2 times on the bounce. Poirier. Look at what he did to Moicano, right? Look at what Moicano did to Benoît Saint Denis. And Islam goes out there and walks right through him.
Hot knife through butter. Knife through butter. Yeah, that's what's going to be and that's why I think we're so damn intrigued on this fight, right? Because we saw Jack handle that pressure from Belal, and I love Belal. I trained with him for years. He's my boy. We talk, but I think even he would admit he's not quite the same type of pressure in the grappling department as somebody like Islam is. Islam, I'm telling you, my buddy Ryan has been training at Nick Catone's and Frankie's and all these gyms while they're all in town. And he's been seeing him move and spar. And he said, first of all, I know he's not that heavy, but he said he looks fucking strong and huge.
He looks big. He's been piling on the creatine. He's gone up.
Which is crazy that he's never done any of that kind of stuff. And it's everywhere. The PI is handing that shit out like it's candy.
Yeah, so he's on all the supplements, and when I say supplements, I mean legal supplements. Before you all start, he's eating, he's eating the finest grass-fed beef straight from the Dagestani mountains. Probably a bit of
some goat,
a couple of lamb curries thrown in there, goat curries thrown in as well. He's on a good diet. He's going up a weight class. He's an incredible grappler. However, he is only human. He's a human being. So how good can you get? Because Belal is good. Look at what Belal did to Leon Edwards, right? Leon had a couple of moments, but for the most part, Belal dominated the fight. And Leon's good at beating that kind of style. But Jack Della Maddalena stopped him. Jack stopped Belal, no problem.
I'm high on Jack Della Maddalena at this point. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to pick Jack Della Maddalena in this fight. I do think that, and especially if you're a gambler, he's the champion and Islam's coming up to his division and moving up a weight class, and he's still the underdog in this fight. I don't think it's I don't know what the line is. I'm sure the boys know what the line is, but I'm going with Jack. I think he will get taken down. I just think he does a really, really good job of forcing scrambles in an up a weight class, trying to hold down the bigger guy for extended periods of time. When Jack gets to his feet, he makes you pay. He doesn't hold back. Like, he's very, very good at being in some crazy scrambles, defending takedowns, and then hurting you with great punches, switching stances as well constantly.
Look at that win over Gilbert Burns. He defended a takedown as he was scrambling back to his feet,
And then
lands
boom.
that knee on Gilbert Burns.
Yeah.
Harrington, the odds, I think it's like 2-1 for Islam, right?
Yeah, it's actually a little bit better. He's the biggest favorite on the main card, Islam Makhachev, anywhere from between -240 to -290. You're getting better than 2-1 on your money back if you're on Jack Della.
I think a lot of people are going to take that bet. I
You
think.
have to, right? Like it's
You
like
have
when
to.
Khabib at the end of Khabib's career, you just have to bet against him.
Yeah. You're not going to, it's not worth the money. That
It's
you're
not
gonna
worth betting
chuck
on
at
him.
If you put a gun, I did an Instagram video the other day for a sponsor, and I said that Jack was going to win. I hadn't put too much thought into it, and I can make a million arguments for Jack, like the Bilal fight, given the fact that he's on this 18-fight win streak, I believe it is, that he's got way better boxing, that he does have good takedown defense. But I think when you look at pressure situations, the big moments that kind of separate the ultra elite fighters from the others, this is Jack's first defense. And I'm not saying he can't rise to these moments. Of course he can.
Yeah.
Of course. But Islam's been there multiple times. This is Madison Square Garden. It's a super fight. I've been there. I'd had 27 fights in the UFC. And I remember being at Madison Square Garden, and I've got George St. Pierre on the other side of me. And yeah, granted, I had one eye and I had torn up ribs. But even still, I was a bit like, whoa, this is a little different. This is a proper super fight, you know? It does get to you. Islam's been there before many times. He kind of is.
He lives it. He lives under the shadow of one of the greatest of all time, his whole entire career. And their whole mission between Habib's late father and Habib has been that you're the next one. All those guys live with that pressure, which I think is why they succeed so tremendously. They're every day in the room is that pressure for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll finish our predictions later, but we are joined by the one, the only, one of the finest referees in mixed martial arts history. The one and only Herb Dean. What's going on, Herb?
Well, what's up, man? Hey, thanks for that introduction. Hey, man. Man, glad to be on your show.
Hey, no, thanks, Herb. I appreciate it, bud. Obviously, you've been around MMA for the longest time, and you've reffed my fights back in the day. I remember me and my old man, we had a few drinks with you back in Sydney after one of my fights, and that was a great day.
Yeah, that was a really fun day because I have to say I'm impressed because I think I had joined you in the morning, and I think you guys had been at it from before, and I consider myself able to go, but then you started before me and continued after me. Well done.
It's one of my superpowers, Herb.
Yeah.
For those people that don't know, and I'm sorry, Paul, I went straight into it. Paul, say hi to Herb.
Hey, what's up, Paul?
Yeah, what's up, dude? Thanks for coming on, man. I think it's really good to see a ref that wants to come on and kind of discuss these things, discuss what's going on in MMA, changes that are maybe being made. So just again, from us on this side of things, we really appreciate it because it's not every day we get somebody with your expertise, especially somebody that also teaches other refs and kind of explains the rules and goes through things so thoroughly that we have you on and can kind of have a good conversation on the good, the bad, and craziness and what's new also in the rule sets and things like that in MMA.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the things we should be better about is talking about what happened, what we're doing, and what goes into the decisions and why we do the decisions we do. Also, right here, I think what we're trying to do right now is be a little bit more transparent as we're actually cooking it. So, people like you and Michael who have a lot of experience as a fighter, and you're not retired fully yet, right? Or you?
Yeah, no, I'm done. I'm out.
Done. Okay. But even some of the other analysts are not all the way retired,
Yeah, still in it.
So when they speak on a rule, they know that it's something they're going to have to be bound by too. So that's actually kind of useful,
Yeah. One of the reasons I wanted to get you on here, Herb, obviously we had that situation at UFC 321 with the eye pokes. And I think it was yourself saying there's going to be some kind of a summit or you guys are going to get together and discuss a strategy for what to do going forward. If I'm not wording that correctly, I apologize. But I think I guess the general message. Did that take place? And kind of talk me through that scenario.
Okay, so that did take place. It's going to be a few meetings because a lot of ideas were floated out. And, for one, I would say we more or less agreed on the way to move forward, which a lot of times we don't always agree, but most of us, and so there's one thing about it, there's no like magic bullet, one quick rule that can be changed that's going to affect that because we have the sport with the gloves open where we have punching and grappling, so fingers have to be able to be out. But I think what we're going to do so far, what we're talking about is we've made rules. So we made a rule where it's a foul to extend the fingers towards the eyes. Right. So
Good.
that's the rule we've already had in place, right? So that rule has been there, but we haven't been enforcing
like
it.
that.
Yeah. Doing
Yeah, like
that.
guys are still doing it, even though you hear Herb and the guys
Right.
saying, guys, fingers up or make a fist. And people still just they come out like this.
So we're going to move forward on that. We're actually going to, I think people would not have been used to seeing someone get a point taken because most of the time when we take a point, it's more as a reactive to the damage and the unbalancing of the fight that's been done by a foul. And that's the only way we can think to balance it. But this right here is a dangerous foul. And somebody's going to keep doing a dangerous action. We should start taking points by them doing that action, from them doing that action before it actually happens to hurt somebody. But the other thing about MMA is, we have a 1-point sport. Okay, the majority of 3-round fights, what's the score? 29-28.
28.
Yeah.
29-28. So you take 1 point, you've taken the majority of wins and turned it into a draw. But we're going to have to do something. So that's one of the things we thought about that we're going to be doing. That's something that's going to happen. The other thing is writing some more guidelines as far as for exactly what is the foul. And so, because that last foul, the one with Aspinall, I think the hands were up, fingers were up, right?
Yeah,
And then they kind of like went, and then they went in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can agree the fingers were up, right? It wasn't a situation like this. Fingers were up. So that, so we might have to change that. And also because there's a lot of times, even when you're pawing like this, when you get to the end of your reach, automatic, your fingers start to come down, as you're reaching out. So
And they kind of scrape across.
Right. You scrape across. So, have you guys seen the way, something that I like, have you seen the way, anyways, you guys may be doing this, right?
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, was there not any discussions towards having
Strickland does this, right?
not clenched, but just
just bent.
A little bit? Was there no discussion regarding that?
No, there was. And that was one of the examples. I like, when Sean Strickland fights, I know he has a bad boy image. I'm not trying to make him a teacher's pet, but man, he's my favorite. He's my favorite when, I see him come out there, he's doing this and he's parrying like that. I don't have to worry about the fingers, Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say, though, that the general consensus, like moving forward, and I think a lot of the MMA community saying that the points do just have to be kind of taken away from guys more often to kind of get them to start to get it into their heads like, hey, you can't be fighting like that. Otherwise, you're going to start fouling people to the point where then this guy's now compromised and is, trying to fight through it so that he doesn't want to have to get a no contest. He's trying to be able to fight for the win. And the other thing is, I think a lot of people at home don't realize you come to us in the locker room. Like if you're reffing my fight, we have already had a full-blown conversation, asked if I have any questions. You explain all of these fouls, and you guys also basically say to us, hey, I'm giving you the first warning right now. Don't extend your fingers. Watch your weapons. Don't kick to the balls. Don't grab the fence. All these kind of things. So I think if you guys start doing what you're talking about, where you get a little more aggressive in there, it's like, hey, I already get, warning one is going, if it's egregious right off the bat, then it's like, I think people are going to have to live with it if you guys start taking points.
Yeah. So that's,
I'm with it.
That's what's been discussed, and the executive directors seem like they're with it also. They're like, hey, no, we're going to need some, we hear guys, warning, stopping, timeout, hard warning. Usually that gets a better effect. But we're going to do, I think the other thing that's going to happen is we're going to get a little bit more specific as to what that foul is. What, because when you're fighting, of course, you can have your hands like this if they're purely defensive, if they're in. But we're going to get a little bit more detailed into what's going to be a foul if someone has their hands out. And there's a couple of things we want to get together and discuss it in person, because we discussed it over a Zoom. I think it's some of the things we need to go over in person. But so the meetings aren't done, but already as it is, we are going to start getting a lot more strict with the rules that we already written, because we already have a rule, but the rule is not being strongly enforced. The other thing that we have is we have replay. And so if you're getting that feeling, the guy who's on the replay is like, hey, man, I've seen those fingers out, you know?
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see more points being taken.
Is that what just happened at the one that you were calling, Michael, where did the replay get caught by the guy's cage side with
Yes. Anti-Delia.
Yeah, Delia.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the one where the replay and then the fight continued, right?
Yeah.
And there was a knockout. Yeah. So that was a great. We were able to use replay to realize that the foul initiated something that could have been fight ending. The referee didn't wave it off. He called the replay. The things we could have done better is we could have got the light on instantly, so everyone would have known what was going on. Because I think that's what was a little confusing. People weren't sure that it was under review, and we have that light there,
like it was over. Yeah,
and we have that light there so that people know something's under review. But we, that review is something that's still being cooked. We're still working on it. So we've always been hesitant to turn on that light. But now we know that's something where that light needs to be turned on right away. Especially you have something where the action's been stopped. And then when the action's been stopped, we can instantly turn on the light if it's under review. And I think that would have helped.
Regarding the eye pokes, that seems to be the big one that's getting a lot of the attention lately. And it seems like, I say seem, because I don't know the numbers, it seems like there's more eye pokes happening. Is that something that the Athletic Commission tracks and they keep a note of? And if so, do they know if there is any data to say that there is more eye pokes happening these days as opposed to, years gone by?
Okay, so there were some numbers on eye pokes, but I think that eye pokes have gotten better, but that's just my feeling. I'm going to have to ask what if the numbers reflect that, because I think once we've written that rule, I think the eye pokes have gotten better. But I think there was a statistic that there was an eye poke happens in 1 in every 14 fights.
1 in every 14. So that's almost one an event, almost, give or take.
Yeah.
No, it's a shame because obviously the language that gets thrown around is intentional versus unintentional. And I assume, obviously you've done this for years, Herb. That's almost, how do you determine whether it's intentional or unintentional?
So I've been telling everyone, and this is something I always say in the meetings, so it's something that I might as well start saying outside of the meetings. I think that unintentional versus intentional is the weakest bit of thing written into our rules. I think first of all, you're asking someone to read somebody's mind and guess what their intention is. And then the other thing, I'm not a mind reader. And then the other thing is that there's some things that it's pretty laid out what you're supposed to do. It's if it's intentional and if it does damage, then you must do so there's some paths there and the fighters all know about it. And it's been a rule for a long time. So I'm talking about the early 2000s. Guys are supposed to be concussed, and they're having a detailed discussion with me about the unified rules. So, Herb, is that intentional or unintentional when they're on the ground, and concussed? It's been gamed. Guys have been gaming this for over 20 years, and we're going to have to do something about it. Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to ask you, Herb, was, is there any talks of, let's say all fouls are not created equal, right? Similar to we don't know if it's intentional or unintentional. Now, even if it's not intentional, but it's obvious the fingers were out straight into the eye, or, straight up smashes the guy in the cup and he's down for almost the full 5 minutes suffering like that. Is there any talks of, okay, the one was clearly just a slip, a mistake, or a collision where the timing got weird versus a guy juts his fingers out or kicks him straight up the middle to the point where it's like, okay, that was egregious. It doesn't matter that it's the first one. That's automatically going to be a point because it affected the fight immediately and it was bad. And
right.
Maybe putting value on how bad the foul is and then that determining the course of action. Whereas if it's like a little scrape, the guy's like, oh, geez, it's like, okay, it seems like that would be a good time to be like, okay, listen, I know that was a complete mishap versus a reaction where you stick your hands out and then the guy's maybe really fighting with one eye for the rest of the fight. Immediate point, that kind of
thing. Well, yeah, you think the way we're supposed to think. you know, the reasons what contributed to the foul. That's what I go over in my class. And so and like you're talking about, there's a difference between, you know, most of the eye pokes that happen are defensive, right? Guys
Yeah.
putting their hand out. You know, very rarely do we have something that's offensive like we had the other night. That was actually offensive. It was like a finger flick jab. And that's one of the things that when we talked about it afterwards, when I was working the replay. And so I was helping with Mark Smith, who was in there, and also like kind of helping him go over his options. That's something that I didn't suggest that, hey, that one, even though we're restarting, we should restart it with a point deduction. And I think something like that, where it's an offensive foul, an offensive movement, like a finger flick jab, that was egregious enough that I think a point should have been taken as well, you know?
Yeah.
So and what were you saying?
No. Sorry, pardon me. Obviously, it's a very complicated sport. I think a lot of people, you know, from the outside, you know, certainly non-MMA fans think it's just a bunch of idiots in a cage and they're just doing whatever they can. As you know, Herb, it's very, very technical and it's a very, very complicated rule set as well. What is like? Obviously, you've been around a long time. You're on social media. What's the biggest misconception that people have about the rule set? What do you think is the one thing that you see all the time that people just blatantly get wrong all the time?
I can't say what they blatantly get wrong all the time because there's so many things guys blatantly get wrong. and you know, so I mean, sometimes I'm really disappointed. I've had, you know, coaches, you know, come up and complain afterwards. I know my fighter lost, but unanimous. It's like, man, they have no understanding exactly of how the points are given at that point. And I'm like, this is a coach talking to me, and a coach that I respect. You know what I mean? And doesn't understand the difference there. But there's a lot of, you know, it is a complicated sport. There's a lot of things that people get wrong, and one of the things that like we don't have that the other combat sports, we don't have a stop in the action. We don't have a 8 count or a, you know, we don't have a count. We have to make all those decisions right then and there.
On the fly, right then and there.
And then on top of it, we have position and momentum, which makes a big difference. The other sports don't have position. They don't have momentum. You know what I mean? Like if you stop the action to give someone a point, you know, and then restart the action, you can't. Let's say someone does a foul in the middle of a submission. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? Break it and then put them back in that submission while they're fighting it? There's no way you can set up that moment. That's
a really good point, Herb, because that is one of the things people complain about all the time. Oh, why are they starting back up on their feet? So-and-so's got an advantage on the feet. It's like, well, the foul may have occurred in a place where, exactly like you're saying, what am I going to do? I can't put him back in a rear naked choke. You know what I mean? The fight's over. If I let him start with his hands like this and he pokes somebody in the eye and you've got to stop it, I can't give that. It's over for sure.
Yeah, because it's different than, it's hard to describe, but there's so many micro adjustments that are like, you know, and guys are thinking and playing chess for their life right there. And then one little bit of timing mistake, it's, you know, that's it. One guy jumping a little advantage.
And the other thing I think people, go ahead, Mike. No, you go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go on.
Just about the, like fans watching at home always kind of complain, oh, he stopped and restarted the fight. I think one of the rules that people really don't understand at home is that you've got to be pursuing damage and trying to finish the fight or advance your position pretty constantly in MMA. And you guys, I feel, are actually pretty damn nice about not interfering and getting yourselves involved more than if you actually looked at the rules itself, right? You guys probably could get away with a lot more of that, would you say?
Yeah, and so we write it out. Yeah, you have to be advancing. You have to be. And so basically what we don't want, I think we all need to get on the same page with this. And then also I want to hear from you because I don't think because we have position. So if someone has a superior position, unless they're actively using it to finish the fight, then the other alternative means they're using it to burn time and not receive damage, right?
Yeah.
We're on the same page there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so if somebody's not doing something that actively looks like it's going to be pursuing the finish, that's what we want our sport to look like, then I think that they need to be warned. And if they don't turn it up, you know, it needs to be restarted. Because doing something, and when I go over the rules, I'm pretty specific. You guys have all heard my rules. I'm going to say work. And what it means when I say work, I want to tell you what you can expect from me, what I'm saying, and what I expect from you. When I say work, what I'm expecting is effort to finish the fight. meaning big shots as if you're trying to put your opponent away, or effort to advance the position. You don't always have to automatically advance, but I want to see a struggle there that's going to be resolved for you to advance the position and try to bring this fight to a close once you've got a dominant position.
And I think people need to understand as well that that's kind of an accumulative effect, right, as well, because the time it takes for you to step in for the first separation, they'll gradually get quicker and quicker, correct?
Yes, exactly. You know, we're going to have to, and also, you know, is the first round, someone's going to get some time to work. We're going to, you know what I mean? The championship fight, well, you're your champion for a reason, so I'm going to give you the respect of getting you some time to work.
Figure it out. Yeah,
exactly.
Figure it out. Yeah, because
talk to me a little bit about what goes on afterwards, Herb. Let's say like at 321, or we had that the incident a couple of weeks ago, which was kind of, we hadn't seen that before with D'Elia and Waldo Cortez Acosta. What is the process with the Athletic Commission and you guys? You know, like what kind of steps do they review it? Do you guys have to sit down? Do you have to speak to the commission? Do you have to talk about any of your actions or anything? Is there a process like that, or am I?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. So after, you know, especially in Nevada, after every fight, you know, we go over everything we got right and everything we got wrong and everything we could have gotten better. So that was, you know, like when we talked about the use of replay, that was the first time we used replay in that situation exactly. So there are some things we could have done better. You know what I mean? And there are some things that we could have, you know, we could have got that light on right away. And so there are some, so that you guys knew what was going on. Hey, okay, because you guys are pretty good about spotting that light. When you're talking, like, oh, there's a light on, let's see what's going on there. So yeah, we go and we talk about that. If some rounds are not rounds are split, you know, everybody's going to watch it. There's going to be a text group, you know, a WhatsApp group. Then there'll be a meeting where the guys are going to watch it and come back in, and you know, those guys are going to talk through it, get on the same page. What's really also, what I'm happy about that we've been doing is we have our pre-fight meeting. And every pre-fight meeting, there was a breakout group between the doctors and the referees. And the doctors and the referees, we discuss what we've been seeing lately, what we do like, what we don't like. And, you know, and I think that's really useful as far as for our mechanic on how we're going to be working together. So, yeah, I think things have been improving.
That's a point too with the doctors, right, Herb? Because you guys get in there, the doctors sometimes maybe don't know quite how to handle those situations quite like you guys. And I see you guys trying to always, whether it's you, Mark, Big Dan, like trying to get the doctor to understand why they're in there, what they're doing. So I guess if you're talking about that beforehand, it can be even smoother when you're in there.
No, that was really well said, because, you know, and also that a lot of it's on us. We need to know what's our lane and what's the doctor's lane. So, you know, our lane is this competitive? Is this fight competitive? The doctor's lane, does this guy need immediate medical attention? You know what I mean? And so I'm not a referee where you're going to see me trying to coach the doctor into stopping the fight when I think it should be stopped. I'm going to stop the fight because it's not competitive. And I don't think this guy should be taking any more damage on those long, slow ones where, you know, where you're like, man, we got to get this guy out of here. Like, okay, this guy hasn't demonstrated any chance that he's going to be able to win this fight. And all I've seen him doing is taking a lot of damage, and it's not competitive, you know? And so that's for me to decide. You know, I bring the doctor in, the doctor is going to tell me, well, no, he doesn't need to go to the hospital right now. He doesn't need attention right this moment. But, you know, he's probably looking at me, but why should we keep doing this? You know what I mean? But having those conversations backstage kind of helps. And also for us to know what exactly they want to look at, you know, what kind of cuts they're worried about and what kind of cuts they're not, you know.
Because in the eyebrows, I know there's certain nerves and things like that. Like if it's split too bad, it can start to affect your eye and things like that as well.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, they give us
one of my fights got stopped for that reason.
Huh?
I said one of my fights got stopped for that reason in Brazil. My eye was like hanging open.
Was it Herb? Did Herb stop it?
No, it wasn't Herb. It wasn't Herb. But I mean, God bless the ref for stepping in, because I was probably going to get KO'd soon if I didn't get out of there.
Yeah, those things we worry about, you know, below the brow and where it's going into the lid, and you know what I mean, things like that. That's what we're worried about.
Yeah. We got to talk about this the situation that happened with Isaac Dulgarian. Obviously, you aren't involved in that stuff, but I just saw like so many nonsense reports online. You know, for example, the FBI is investigating 100 of Jason Herzog's fights. I'm assuming that was utter garbage nonsense?
I don't know anything about that. I have no idea that that's happening. And I think, man, I think
one
that
guy
people,
that made that report.
yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, people should be careful about what they're saying. If it's not, I don't know how he would have proof of that or whatnot. What's really interesting is that a lot of these, there's a couple of times where they've made some statements about things that I'm doing that like weren't quite true, or actually just were like even where I was at, and I was not even at that event, but they want to put me there to bring some sensation to it. And I've gone and I've looked at some of these journalists, and I reach out, and I'm thinking about sending. One time I had to send a letter like, hey, could you retract that? Yeah, and then I realized when I'm looking at these guys, their resume, just about all of them are lawyers. I think they do that so they can defend themselves. I don't know. Maybe they pick these guys so that the guys don't. But a lot of these independent guys, a lot of these journalists are lawyers.
And a lot of them are just people in their mom's basements that have access to MMAs. We've got plenty of credible guys and amazing people in the media. And then you've got guys that just really want to make absolutely outlandish clickbait type content. And it can be frustrating for sure.
And that's the thing. It's like, our job is to do things, and these guys, their job is to make clickbait. They're there to say sensational things that make people pay attention. And that's how they get paid. So,
Yeah. Herb, what was the first ever UFC event that you refereed?
I think it was in the 40s, the early 40s.
Right, okay.
Wow.
I can't take, I think, remember exact number, but early 40s, like 42. I remember I refereed Wade Ship. I'm pretty sure that might have been the first one I did, where I refereed Wade Ship. And forgot exactly who we fought, but that was in probably 2004. Wow, 2004 was the first time. Yeah.
Damn, you have been doing it for a while.
Before that, I was refereeing King of the Cage. I started there in the late 90s.
Where was most of the King of the Cage stuff? Was that was all over, right?
All over. But first, it started off in the Southern California. Then they started traveling all over the state and all over the country. Yeah. I remember it was crazy. Like, hey, people really care about what we're doing. We're about to get on a plane to go do this somewhere else. You know what I mean? Yeah. All the different little steps,
It's
and
crazy.
Now look at us. We're taking planes all over the place.
All over the place. You started at UFC 40. I mean, now here we are 21 years later. Yeah. The sport's just exploded. Me and Paul, we start this podcast, and typically we have like a joking bitch about, our travels. We're going here, there, and everywhere. And I always say, blue shirts for the UFC, they're going to almost every event. The referees are at almost every single event. Your air miles must be ridiculous.
Crazy. Yeah. And then on top of it, I usually have another promotion that I work for internationally that, wherever it is. And so, for me, it's what I thought the sport should be. I thought it was going to be that way. I remember in the 90s, the stuff that was on TV, and our sport couldn't get on TV. And the goofy stuff that was on TV. And we know our sport is the best sport on earth. It's going to keep going to take over. And so as far as I'm concerned, I'm living a dream come true. That's what I asked for. It's great. Yeah.
And Herb, just give people a little bit of your background, because I know you used to fight MMA. Did you fight Tom Blackledge at Cage Rage?
No, I never fought Tom Blackledge. I think I was scheduled to fight him, but I wasn't able. We weren't scheduled, but we were thinking about the fight.
That's right.
I didn't. As far as my fighting in MMA, it was one of the things I liked training MMA. I liked. Sometimes it was training just to not be fat. But but it was something I like to do. And like sometimes when I'm in these rooms, all of a sudden I'm able to hold my own against people that I was surprised that I was able to. And I was like, okay, I think maybe I should book a fight, So it was something I definitely enjoyed.
So how do you transition from being a fighter, that enjoyed the sport, to then becoming an official referee for the UFC?
Well, for one, the way our sport kind of grew up is like everybody was doing, in the beginning, everybody was doing everything, I think. So if somebody's having an event somewhere, I'm going to show up, whether I bought a ticket or not, or even if I'm here supporting the team, if they need tickets, if they need seats unfolded, if they need this or whatever done, I think that's kind of how our sport was in the beginning. We're just so happy people were giving us places to do it.
Just making it happen.
Yeah, so everybody's just trying to do something to make it happen. I was lucky enough that I trained, one of the coaches I trained with was Larry Landless. So he was one of the early UFC referees, early King of the Cage referee. And, Larry would promote little slap like pancrase matches. But anyway, everybody liked Larry, and Larry was the referee for the area. And I was one of the guys from his gym, and he'd bring us out to like work as inspectors. And so I would come out and just support Larry. I'd be in the back making sure things were the way he wanted them done. And then eventually they worked me too hard back there for free. And my reward was I got to ref a match. So it stuck for me.
I'll tell you, I'd be shitting my pants if I had to ref a fight.
Yeah.
I would be shitting my pants because, and we say it all the time. We say it on commentary. I've said it as a fighter. It is so difficult because everyone is going to be judging, just like being an umpire, anything in any kind of sports. You're always going to have somebody that's upset with something that happened, no matter what. So even if you're doing everything right, you're going to have somebody that absolutely is going to be like, oh, that was the wrong decision. So,
and there's going to be time. Yeah, there's going to be times where, your job is to look at it and say, okay, this happened. Was that my fault? And try to make it your fault. Even if it was somebody else's fault, try to make it your fault so that it won't happen to you again. And, it's like, but there's things that, because this is what we're trying to see. If these are two fighters and they're moving, then here's the referee. We want to try to always move where we're keeping a triangle where we can see the fronts of both fighters. But what happens is a lot of times you guys come together, if you can see this, bam, and then make a quick turn. And what we want, and we end up with the worst absolute position where everything is in a row. 1, 2, 3, and not at a triangle. Sure. And that happens in a split second. And then now that's when the action happens. And the bottom line is your job as a referee is to have a position where you can see the action, to minimize this as much as possible. But it's going to happen. And the worst is when something big where you have to make a decision happens there. So now, do you make that decision from what you thought you see, or do you take one extra step so you can actually see what's going on? And in that one extra step, this is
something can happen. Yeah. Or submissions too, right? Like, like you can't see everything going on at once.
Oh, is he frozen up, or is that just me?
No, I'm here.
That's Paul.
Yeah, that would be what I would be skeptical, is not knowing exactly where the subs
froze
are
up a second there, Paul. Just ask that question again, bud.
Yeah. One more time. There was a little malfunction.
Oh, no, I was just saying how I'm sure in the submissions and the grappling positions, that's got to be the hardest because you guys can't see everything at once. If you're over here, you can't see what's happening on the other side. So is that one of the trickier parts, is being the ref, when it's in like weird grappling positions and something can happen like that where a guy's fine, he's giving a thumbs up, and the next thing you know, he's tapped over here or over there and you can't quite see it. Is that a pain in the ass when you're reffing fights?
Yeah, no, it is, because you sometimes on one side you're going to get the information about is the guy okay, or is he like, that's the best position for you to see. Hey, you're looking at the macro, right? What's his body doing? Let's say he's in a choke, and you're not looking at the choke, you're looking at what his body's doing. If his body's not doing the things that make sense, you know what I mean, or continue to make pressure to get out of there, then we know, hey, maybe check to see if he's unconscious, but then on the other side, that may be where the tapping hand happens.
Yeah.
So you're in the place to get the best information for if he doesn't tap. But if you go to the other side, you can see the hand that will probably tap. But then if he doesn't tap and he goes unconscious, you're not on the side where you can get the information that, hey, he's quit doing the things that make sense. Or, you know what I mean? And sometimes you have no way you can see. And like, sometimes when somebody goes out, you're going to have to make a call, and you might make it just on the rhythm of the breathing, right? Because as we know, when guys go unconscious, our breathing gets mechanical, right? So that's what you're going to be making the call based on, of like, okay, I'm hearing snorts, and they're no longer, you can't hear consciousness behind them anymore. You hear them being mechanical, being like reflex breathing.
What is the most cliched, or not cliched, the term that fighters get used to you the most? When you go in and you speak to us guys, and you're like, okay, guys, here's what.
Let me die in there.
And we're gonna warn you, fight back and all the rest. Because I know I used to always say, hey, don't worry about me, worry about the other guy.
But they say, I have heard people tell me that they're prepared to die. I'm prepared to die in there. Do not stop the fight no matter what. And you know what? I love it when guys tell me that. You know what I mean? Because I know that these guys are committed to doing whatever it takes to further their career and getting their dreams and hopes. And I'm going to try to give those guys that chance. There's other people that are there for a good time. And, don't tell me you're ready to die in there if you're just there to have a good time. And I'm going to support you in that too. hey, it's competitive, you're going, but it's starting to come to where you're digging through and you're getting damaged, but you got to, and you're like, nah, I came here for a good time. It's not fun anymore. And I'm thinking that you're here to try to be a
Yeah,
champion.
you told me
And
you were going to die. Yeah.
yeah. So I like it when, if somebody, huh? What is it?
I'm sorry to interrupt. That's crazy. There's people that have said to you, hey, listen, I'm just here. I'm here for a good time. Yeah, I'll make a bit of money, but they don't take it that seriously.
Well, I think there are some people at different points in their career where they're like that. And that's part of, for me to try to figure that out. And some of them I'm able to figure that out. And that's my job. And they still are able to put on a good show and people are still interested to see them fight. And that's at different levels. Very rarely do you see it in the UFC. But in other promotions, maybe after a guy's UFC career, he's here to enjoy himself still. And that's how he knows how to do it. But, he's not here to put it on the line. Like, he's not here doing the type of stuff that you've done with the injuries and still trying to make it happen. You know what I mean? And so, and there's not everybody's like you guys, you know what I mean? But they're still fun.
Because you commentate a lot of different promotions. Maybe it's a guy that had his UFC run and now he's, respectfully collecting a few paydays before he finally hangs up the floor.
And getting on a plane and going and seeing another part of the world he's never seen and interacting with fans, and everybody's getting a positive interaction with it. But do I need to let him go through what I'd let somebody trying to make a championship run? You know what I mean?
Or like a title fight in the UFC where that person's still
going to change their life.
They're going to come back and change their whole trajectory. Yeah. Whereas, somebody's getting beat badly and it's like, man, I know you don't really want to be in here right now. So that's the other thing people don't realize. Like, you've got to make those decisions for the safety of where that person is and what they're really there to do. Right. And that's,
right. So when the guys come and tell me the coronary cells, I'm a warrior ready to die. I'm like, oh, thank you. Thank you for letting me know that. I don't have to try to figure out the other stuff,
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, if you were to put a number on it, how many fights do you think you've reffed?
I have no idea, man. I should have realized what special thing I was in and taken exact notes because it's a lot. But here's so as far as UFC, the next one in line who's reffed as many UFCs as me is John McCarthy. And he's reffed half the UFCs I've reffed. And the thing about it, our paths are different because by the time I got to the UFC, as far as refereeing fights, I had refereed far more fights than him. And he's the next one I know who refereed that many fights. So I've refereed a lot of low-level fights too, and I'm constantly refereeing outside the UFC. So I've had the blessing to be able to do this so many times. What's a trip is like, what I really love about it is because I think that an MMA fight is probably one of the most important, intense things a person can do. You know what I mean? It's like outside of like maybe buying a house or graduating from university, it's like a pretty intense moment. And I've got to be there for so many of these moments for so many people just doing this, but that's cool. You know what I mean? I get to be there for those moments.
Hearing the way you speak about the sport and how much you respect the sport, and obviously what you just said there, that's a really good point. It is one of the most intense things that a human being can do. Clearly, you love and respect this sport. Does it ever get you down when you see all these people out there online that come up with these wild conspiracies and they talk all this shit? Because it is kind of a thankless job in some ways. Does it ever get you down, or is it just like
no, I've learned to, that's part of my job is to, just like you guys. You know what I mean? You got to stay focused on what you're doing. Just like the coaches have to be like, okay, all that buzz over there, that doesn't matter. What you need to do, I know what you're going through right now. It doesn't matter. What you need to do is focus, breathe. He's hitting you with this because you're not, you know what I mean? You need to focus on what matters. And for me, as far as for the people I need to talk to do a better job, the people who know my job, the people are going to tell me, hey, you should do this. And then I'm going to have to see that person do the same thing in the same situation. Those are the people I talk to help me get better. You know what I mean? Yeah. Things like that,
Have you ever had a situation where a fighter, maybe either in the octagon or maybe afterwards in the locker room, that's came at you and like, I'm not saying attacked you, but got pretty aggressive and like talked a ton of shit?
I've had people talk some stuff, and but at the same time, people say things even in the cage, but I don't hold that personal because like, I mean, the chaos, it's such an intense thing that people don't remember exactly what happened. Even my own fights, I've watched some of my fight. I got out of the fight and I thought things happened in a certain order. And then when I watched it, I'm like, I thought that happened before that or happened this or after that.
Yeah.
And so, my thing is I always tell people the same. If you don't like one of my calls, I'll watch it with you. We can watch the replay together. And, I made a decision from what I saw here. And if there's something for me to learn to be better, I'm always trying to learn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But but a lot of times, I mean, if somebody was got hurt, it's like, I hate to be corny, but it's like, well, while you were sleeping, some things happened, you know what I mean? That you're not really up to date with,
Yeah.
And that's the best, passive aggressive shit talk ever. Well, when you were asleep unconscious, a couple of things happened that you're not aware of.
You ate 5 more shots that you don't know that you ate.
Tell us about the courses that you do, Herb.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I do judging referee courses, and I'm really proud of them. One of the things that I've done with the courses, I've divided the certificate up into 3 certificates. So there's an inspector certificate, a judge certificate, and a referee. The referee's supposed to have an opinion about everything, so he's going to have gotten all 3 certificates to be a referee. The judge is going to have gotten an inspector certificate. The inspector certificate is those guys who you see coming out at the athletic with the the suit jackets on. But we need bodies for that in the amateur. And the all the time we watch these videos of bad outcomes, whatever that outcome may be. And one of the things I always see is there's no inspectors there. There's nobody there who's done a walkthrough with the doctors. There's nobody who's done a walkthrough with the paramedics. There's no one who's there who's come and made sure that the paramedics have the oxygen on the cart. And even at the highest level, making sure that they actually have a splint on the cart, because that's the injury we've been seeing more so than need of oxygen is, broken limbs where, hey, we need a splint on this guy. And now we got a poor doctor in there holding on forever, trying to keep this thing straight while they run out to the rig outside to get the splint. And so there is a need and room for more educated officials. And the other thing with the inspector, it doesn't have to be someone who's good at martial arts. To be a referee or a judge, you have to understand martial arts. But to be an inspector, I'm finding that some of these guys who just have organizational skills that they brought from other jobs, or maybe if they've had a high rank in the military and they've had to organize a lot of people, these guys have been making amazing inspectors and doing really good job for the sport. And so kind of that's what my focus is right now.
Awesome.
And what does that course look like? How in depth is that? Okay,
so of course, these guys come to me. I don't like to travel so far to do it because I have my fighters who spar and do scenarios. I have the gyms that I use, and also I have about 5 people who help me instruct it. So
you actually have guys there putting on a sparring match so that these guys can get a real experience, if you will.
Well, and it's not our job, and we have scenarios, and our job is not to make them think that our acting and that the sparring is so realistic that they're in a real fight. But I want to know that they've taken in the information and can know what should be in place. I want them to come in there and before they get there, they're going to do a pre-fight check. They're going to do a rules meeting. I want to hear them, and the first time, if they have, even though I prepare them for it, they have no system. They're like, I want to hear them do a rules meeting. I'm going to ask them some of the questions that the fighters ask, this, and that, and see how they answer those. And then when they get in there, I want to know if they know where everything should be. If in their mind they're getting in there and going, okay, I know I should have a doctor, even if it's a scenario, who is my doctor? Where's my judges at? You know what I mean? And so that they, and when a foul happens, okay, do they go through the mechanics properly? So so that's the reason why we do that. And it's really good. What I'm hoping is that in the amateurs, when we show up at fights, we know, that there's going to be enough bodies there to keep these guys safe, because it's a lot of fun. And I think that more people who know about it, I think will be to get out there and be involved in that way, because us.
And if somebody watching this fancies doing that, where did they sign up to this course, Herb?
Okay, herbdean.com. Right now I don't have a course plan, but when you go to herbdean.com, there's ways to submit, fill out the form, and I will reach out to you when, hey, I'm here and I want to take the course, and I'll reach out to you, and we'll find out when the next course is, and I'll get you on the list for that, and I actually, everybody who comes in and wants to take the course, I reach back out to them through emails and through conversation to kind of let them know what to expect, because, like, to ask them about their experience, and so that they have a realistic expectation, you know what I mean? Because some people believe that if they've seen every UFC, that's enough to become a referee, and it's not.
Yeah.
You have to know something about martial arts. But I can ask you about what your other job is, and I'm like, hey man, you're actually a pretty organized guy, and you could help us out a lot.
I was going to ask you one more kind of sarcastic question and then let you go. But just this occurred to me. Fighters as judges and officials, kind of like Chris Lieben. What's your opinion on that? I don't mean Chris Lieben particularly, but people think, fighters should go off and become judges and all the rest of it. As you know, fighters can be kind of emotional creatures. What's your thoughts on more fighters being involved in the officiating side?
Okay, so Chris Lieben did come through my course. So actually, he's one of the people that I trained to become an official, amongst other fighters like Paul Bonatello, Vladimir Matyushenko. Let's say, who else is King Mo, Joe Stevenson. There's a bunch of fighters who come and taken the course, and of course I extend anything I can to them. I want to get them in there, and the thing about it is that some don't get it. Some who are amazing, were amazing fighters, and who are amazing coaches. Like sometimes I'm like, when I'm not refereeing and they're coaching, I'm like enjoying, just like, I want to see how this guy gets that connection. You know, there's some coaches who like can talk people through things that are maybe even out of their skill level. I've seen that happen before. And I'm thinking these guys are going to be a great, official. And it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not able to pass the test. But then other guys who come and they take it serious, they're able to do it,
Yeah, it's like if you're a great fighter, it doesn't mean you're going to be a great coach. The two don't naturally coincide.
But they're coming, and I'm here for any of the fighters who want to become officials. Come out to my course. I'm going to make sure you come through there. I'm going to make sure that we spend time with you, so that because I think if that's one way you want to be able to continue in the sport, I think you've earned the right to try to do that. That's what we want.
So
Mike, we got to do a BYM trip.
Yeah, there you go.
BYM trip to one of Herb's courses.
You're going to be in New York, I'm assuming, Herb?
I am. Yep, I'll be there.
Who wins the main event?
Who's got it? I don't know.
I know. I know you can't make it big. I'm literally teasing.
Oh, you're asking me to predict? No, never.
Yeah. Are you calling the main event?
I don't predict for my friends and family. They're like, it's so funny, like how much this has to affect it, because they're like, yeah, so who do you think? So I'm like, no, I never. I'm like, I actually, in my mind, I try to even quell those thoughts. It's like a discipline I try to have, because I think that you should have a fair and unbiased referee.
You don't want to be thinking it's going to go one way or the other.
Right. And they're like, no, but you're not that guy right now. You're not at work. You're at a barbecue, and I'm your uncle. And I'm going, but I'm always that guy. Yeah.
Are you calling the main? Refereeing the main event?
I don't know. I don't know who. Sometimes we know ahead of time. Sometimes we don't know. I don't know who has it.
Okay. Well, Herb, thanks for your time. That was fascinating. Really appreciate it,
thanks,
man.
Dude.
Thank you very, very much for agreeing to come on and talk to us.
Thanks for having me on, and thanks for the great questions. And you guys, have a lot of insight, and I think this conversation is useful for me too. Just talking to you too.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
no.
Let's do more of it.
Need to, would love to. Let's do it whenever you want. Herb, you're the man. Enjoy New York. Have a great show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, talk to you soon.
I'll see you there, Herb.
See ya. You're gonna be there?
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'll
be backstage doing that little podcast that they do about last fight. So I'll be walking around. I'll see you guys.
Okay. All right.
Later, brother.
See you, Herb.
That was good.
He's a great guy, man. He's a great guy. Good. Yeah, no, it's great insight because listen, I know people are passionate about the sport, and that's great. They should be, but then sometimes, something happens in the sport. There's all these wild conspiracies and theories and this and that. It's like, guys, these people care about this sport. They've got a really hard job, man. Even sometimes we've done it on the commentary. We've had to talk quote unquote, a little bit of shit because we perceive they made a mistake. But they got to make those split second, you know?
And at the end of the day, like you're saying, 9 times out of 10, maybe even more than that, like they're looking out for the guy that's getting hurt. If you're mad about a decision being made or this or that, they're trying to keep it fair. They're trying to do this. Do mistakes happen? Of course they do. We're all human. And just unfortunately, when you're a ref and those things happen, you're under great scrutiny and you're in the spotlight. But at the end of the day, they're looking out to make sure, just like Herb even said, where guys are always going to tell him, oh, I'm ready to die in there. But he can tell when you're really that guy or when maybe you've taken too much, right? And these are decisions that they've got to try to make fairly. It's tough.
We've been going for a while now. This has been a long one. My word. Harrington and Brian, are you guys still alive? Are you logged off?
We're here, dude. I've been a fascinating conversation with Herb Dean, but where we left off, I don't think either one of you guys gave an official pick for the main event, did you?
No.
I'm going to say Islam Makhachev.
Oh, shit.
I say Islam. Yeah, I do. I said Jack, but I'm going to say Islam. I said Jack on Instagram. And I'm not trying to hedge my bets. I just think the more we've talked about it, the more I've looked into it, the more.
So your official pick is Islam.
Yeah, but we're going to have a forfeit on this.
Oh, man.
I know you're going to do Jack.
I'm going to do Jack.
All right. We did used to have the one chip. What was it?
Yeah, but they stopped making those because they were killing
Yes.
people.
What can we do? Like, we got to do something fun, like a forfeit for whoever loses. Who are you guys picking?
I'm on Jack.
You're on Jack, Brian?
I think Islam's going to win, but I would put money on Jack.
Yeah. Well,
but what's your official pick? So you're picking Islam?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so we've got Islam, you two have got Jack. So we need a forfeit for Monday morning. Let us know in the comment section, please. And whoever wins and loses will do it. A shoey. That's not a forfeit. I'll do a shoey right now.
Yeah, I wish I had a beer. I
look like a bit of a dickhead, though. We've been going for almost, 2? We have been going for 2 hours. I think we'll wrap this one up, eh?
Yeah.
I think so.
I'm going to watch the Eagles games.
If you have a question, send it into bympod@gmail.com. We'll do them next week. Right now, you know Dad got homes to go to, people to see. What are you doing for the rest of the day, Paul?
I'm going to go hang out with the kids, and then in about 2 hours, the Eagles play the Packers on Monday Night Football. So I'm going to watch the game.
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
I know you're going to be tuned in, Michael.
I'm starving.
I'm going to be texting you about it. I'm starving too.
I'm starving. I'm going to get some food. And that's about it. Guys, thank you for watching. Leave some comments, like the video, subscribe, tell your friends, all that good stuff. The BYM Pod, you'll notice we haven't missed an episode in a while. You know, we're committed.
We're dialed.
We're dialed in. We're locked in.